Hey there, viewers. Welcome back to the South Main Auto Channel. Got a 2017 Subaru. It's a Legacy. I think it's a 2.5. It doesn't have a label, so I don't know what it is. It's big. And the lady has been having problems with this thing with the battery going dead for a couple of years. So it started it back in the year 2020. And that's when everything bad started. But that's when this thing started going through batteries. So she's gone through a couple batteries, is my understanding. And the car used to be a daily. It's only got about 58,000 miles on it right now. But then it got to the point where the car would sit. Like, instead of driving every day, she was only driving it, twice a week. And every time she'd go to get in it, the battery was dead. Someone else in the family has it now, her daughter or something like that. And the car is often dead. And like I say, they've gone through the swaps of the batteries and stuff, and she says she has to drive it every single day now, because if it sits for 2 days, it's DOA. So that's it. That's all I know. I do know there's an aftermarket remote start, as there often is on these, on the key fob. Looking on the inside, car looks nice, super clean. Everything looks stock, no aftermarket radio. Don't see any other funny business right off. So that's all I know. It's been sitting for about 2 minutes at this point. Before we do anything invasive, we're going to just throw a current clamp around the negative battery. We're going to see what the current draw is, as we typically do with parasitic draw concerns. And then we're going to look in service info, because you guys remember the last Subaru that we did had some really good info in service info, which oftentimes these cars or manufacturers don't when it comes to ghost voltage. I don't remember what Subaru called it. It had a pretty specific name for it. Dark current, that's what it was. Dark current, darkness. That's what Subaru called it. And they were very specific on how long the car had to sit to time out, which the last Subaru video we did that had a bad radio, that car only had to sit for like a minute, something like that, and everything shut off, and we were able to find that one really quickly. If I remember right though, the guy didn't fix that. He elected to just leave the fuse out and live without a radio. So I don't know what we're going to find here, but that's the process we're going to use, and why don't you guys come along. Minor change of plans. We're going to send the current through the meter. This cable's a little too big. It's a double cable. I can't get it in my current clamp. Right now the car is parked, shut off, obviously, and the doors are locked. So if we do this wrong, we're going to get an alarm on a Subaru. So clamp that baby on there. We'll have to get it to where it locks on. Alright, so we should have current passing through our meter, providing the fuse is good when we put it away last. We're going to go to graphing meter. We'll go amps internal. Now this can handle up to 20 amps internal, I think. No, 10 amps internal. Well, that's not a very big draw, my guy. Let's get some, kind of cruising across the screen here for you. But you can see we're drawing, well, close to 100 milliamps. Oh, that's interesting. It's kind of acting like it's creeping up there from when I very first hooked it up. Okay, there's 60. Now it's about a 60 milliamp draw. Interesting. Not excessively high. I'll put it on a 200 milliamp scale. I'll put some time on the screen here, see if we see any anomalies. Yeah, now we're down to 33 milliamps. That's interesting. That's really pretty insignificant. Certainly would not kill the battery overnight. So that's kind of bizarre. I don't know if there's a date code on this battery. It might be under the cover. What's kind of interesting, I'm going to let this go over some time, because see, I can see it ramping up again, but we could still be in the shutdown process of this. So it's kind of bizarre. Like I said, I'm put 5 minutes on the screen. We might drag out the Pico here so we can see more current over time. All right, well, we'll let her sit. I'm going to look in service data, and we'll come back and check this out in a few minutes. So I think I'm starting to see a bit of a pattern here. It's only been about 8 minutes. And every 3 seconds, we're going to have this small hump here. Okay. we'll call it a little small current draw. That is the blinking red light, the security light inside. It blinks every 3 seconds. These other spikes here every 1 second, approximately. I don't know what they are. Could be perfectly normal. But like I say, this lower hump that we get, that's every time that little LED on the dash turns on for security. And then it seems to be about every minute something turns on and runs this up to about 90 to 100 milliamps. And we'll see that. Of course, we'll see this current draw on top of whatever this is that happens right here. So something is happening where our one second pulses, if you will, become a little bit longer. They stay on a little longer, whatever it is. And then of course we still have our LED, our security LED, blinking every 3 seconds. We can get that out of the mumbo jumbo. And then we come here and, like I say, it holds around 90 to 100 milliamps. And whatever this is turns back off, so to speak, or goes away rather, after about a minute or so. But it happens just about every minute, pretty consistent. I was seeing it there when I had more time on the screen. And that's going to shut off here. And then, like I say, we still have our blinking security light. We lose our 1 second pulses that we were getting, but we still have our security light blinking. And then in a little bit, it'll drop back down to, the 30 milliamps. So it goes back to our 30 milliamps. Got some funny business there, and then it goes back to, quote unquote normal, where we have a current draw every 1 second, and then our security light blinking. So I think there is definitely something wrong. I still have yet to look at service data because I get sidetracked. Hey, squirrel. And, start looking at this, and I think we have enough data to go on here to say, like, yeah, this probably isn't normal. Whether it's a module waking up or doing something, I really don't know. It's pretty low current. So I don't know if we're going to end up making our tests every minute while it's broken. If we go, we go down the fuse and find out where this current draw is going. But I don't think that these pulses every 1 second. I don't believe that's normal. I might have said I think it's normal, but I don't believe it is. I've done a lot of current draw testing on cars, and you usually don't see stuff like that. You'll see the lights kicking on and off, the LEDs, but here we are going into another 1 minute cycle. So, and like I say, those pulses that were every 1 second now become bigger, and that's our LED light kicking on, our security light. There's another one there just on the edge. Here's another one on that back edge. So like I say, every 3 seconds we're going to see this LED light kicking on there. So yeah, anyhow, so that's what it does. It repeats it over and over and over again. So just so you guys know, that's kind of where I'm at. And now I'm going to go back and do what I told you I was going to originally do. Look at some service data. I think I might have found it, folks. So I gotta wait about a minute for this thing to kick on whatever it's doing. And then as that's happening, I'm measuring voltage drop across each fuse for the, the 30 or 40 seconds that it does it. So right there, it's drawing current, and look at my meter. 0.3 millivolts across this fuse right here. Now I'll stay kind of panned back. As soon as the current draw goes away, so doesn't our voltage drop across that fuse. So let's just wait for it here. It doesn't last very long. It took me a while. I started, of course, way over here on the left-hand side, and finally made it over there. So we're down to 2 millivolts of voltage drop across the fuse. It still has 64 milliamps of current draw. Wait for it to go away. And there it is. We're back to quote-unquote normal. And we have no current draw across the fuse. So that made it tricky because I could only test it while it was broken. So anyways, let's see what that fuse runs and see where it goes. So that was kind of a tricky one. Let's see, that is the third row. And so third row, and it's the very top fuse. And that says, you guys probably can't see it, but it says DCM, Delta Charlie Mike. 7.5 amps. So let's look on a power distribution and see what that runs. Yeah, so right now it's doing it again. Well, I guess before we do that, let's just go like this. Let's grab these from the previous job that we didn't take care of. Oh, come on, you stink pots. There we go. Let's pull that out. Let's just yank the fuse. Boom. Problem solved, baby. You just gotta pull your fuse. And now all we have is our blinky light every 3 seconds for security. So I'm gonna set that fuse right there. And that looks like a normal current draw pattern. So the last Subaru we did, I think, was drawing around 30 milliamps. So we can put some time on the screen. We'll put, we'll just go like 3 minutes, we'll say. And we'll just let this continue to go. It's gonna look a little wobbly over there because, like I say, the LED that's blinking on the inside. We'll change the time basis so it looks a little better. Because the problem was happening every 1 minute. So let me go see what this fuse runs. And we do that by looking in a power distribution diagram, and it'll tell us everything that runs off that fuse. So I found it right here. Oops, where's my pointer? I guess this is all we got for a pointer. Big scraper. Fuse number 9, 7.5 amp. Only feeds one thing. Hooray for us. Data communication module. And I have no idea what that is or what it does. Here's how we're fixing this one, folks. DCM fuse, taped. Batteries reinstalled. Put that back in there, and I'll tell you what I figured out. Good news and bad news, folks. The DCM, or the telematics data control communication module, get mixed up here, has to do with Subaru's Starlink, I guess they call it. So it seems to be their version of GM's OnStar. Satellite. You got like your SOS button up here and this information button and stuff like that. It is a subscription service that the customer has to pay for. I'll fast forward and skip a whole bunch of stuff. It took a while to figure out what all of this module does for everything, but that's mostly it. The radio will still function. The XM radio will still function. She'll still be able to hook to the audio here with her Bluetooth. The best I can figure out, that should all still function. I've left the fuse out because I got a hold of Subaru because I wanted to see, well, how much does this module cost? You know, it appears that something funky has gone with it. Let's just start figuring things out, see if they're available. As soon as I called Subaru, the guy says, not a chance, young fella. He says they've been on a forever back order. They make them out of unobtainium and you can't get them. Great. Subaru has a service bulletin on it because apparently this is an issue with people trying to swap in used ones, and that's a big no-no. So they have a bulletin issued to their dealer saying, do not swap this out or take this out for any reason and put in one from a different car and this, that, and the other thing. And if you need to obtain a new one, here's the process to go through. And we'll fast forward from that point. I asked the guy at Subaru, I said, so if these are on back order, what are you guys seeing coming in the shop? Almost every single case is parasitic draw. So it's kind of interesting that I've never run across this before. But the fact that he knew right offhand also that this data communication module was a common source for a battery draw. And he can't get them. He says you can put one on order. He says they've been getting them trickled in, here and there every once in a while, been on back order for a couple years and then get one every, month or so. But it's as a, I guess you're put on the list. So checked with this lady, gave her the options. We can get it, we can wait, we can go a little further, or we can leave the fuse out of it and everything works on your car and you're not paying for Starlink service anyways. And she says, yeah, that's what she wants to do, is just leave the fuse out of it and enjoy the car and not fix a feature that she doesn't even use. So we're not going to go any further. That's that. If you want to go further with yours, I guess you got to, I was looking at service data, the whole center stack here comes out, the navigation unit and all that stuff, and the heater and the modules back in there. But there is a process to replacing it and installing it, other than just, plugging it in and calling it a day. So that's it. That's where we're at. That's a lot of jibber jabbering for that, but kind of a neat battery draw. So maybe if you're working on a Subaru and you see that same type of current draw that's coming and going, skip all the BS, yank the fuse out for that DCM and see if it takes care of it, and this will save you some time. But I'm sure there's some Subaru guys in the comment section that maybe can elaborate on this as far as what the telematics data communication module does on and beyond just the SOS button and stuff like that. I didn't look into it any further. But what I will look at is your comment in the comment section. Questions, comments, the Insta, the Facebook. And just remember, viewers, if I can do it, you can do it. Thanks for watching.